There's only one Billy Gilmour. One Billy Gilmour. Let me level with you, kid. I'm a fan, a big fan. I mean, you're boss in the midfield in ways that you really don't see players your age do. And after that performance against Liverpool and Everton, I started every show by singing your name. And I know you're a neutral observer, Chris. I won't ask you to embarrass yourself in front of one Billy Gilmour, but one Billy Gilmour. There's only one Billy Gilmour. One Billy Gilmour. There's only one Billy Gilmour. I was a little nervous singing that in front of the man. Thank you, Billy Gilmour. Billy Gilmour joining us here on Chelsea Mic'd Up. Now, Chris Whittingham said on last week's episode of Chelsea Mic'd Up, form is temporary, but class is permanent. Sir, you are class. And the last few performances that you put on the field got Chelsea fans really excited. Considering your age, and you look around, and you're like man of the match against a Liverpool squad that's going for it, do you ever say, hey, this is surreal? I was dreaming about this like 2 years ago, and here I am just telling players where to go and attacking the Liverpool defense. This has to be surreal for you, Billy.
Yeah, it's been very crazy since I've signed for Chelsea. That's been the ultimate dream, to play in the Premier League and make my debut. So when I was playing against Liverpool and Everton, back-to-back games, I was really privileged to go out there and express my skills and show everyone what I can do. But most of all, it was for the team to win, and we've been playing well, so we did up until we got told we had to close down for what's going on.
In your wildest dreams, though, we played some sound from Frank Lampard here, and he said he's actually been conservative bringing you along into the first team, which is a little hard to believe, but also very high praise coming from Frank Lampard, which we'll get into how nuts that is, that you're playing for Frank Lampard as you were watching him growing up. But did you really think that first-team football was actually in your future with Chelsea this season?
It wasn't something that I was looking at. To be honest, it was more, I thought I was been going alone. But I got told I was to stay and train, to train a lot more with the first team and play games with the under-23s, and that I was happy with that. That's what I was, more time to go around with the first team and train, show them what I can do. And obviously I've had Jody Morris and Joe Edwards in the youth setup, so going across the road to the first team wasn't as scary as sometimes it should be.
Do you remember your first conversation with Frank Lampard, and were you trying to keep it together a little bit and not show? Because obviously you're of a certain age, right, Billy? Frank Lampard is arguably the most famous player in club history. You probably grew up idolizing his play. Do you have to like sort of keep it together, and then when he leaves the room just sort of freak out to yourself?
It's weird that you say that. My first ever time actually meeting the gaffer was when I came down to sign, so it was, and Jody Morris and Jim Fraser, Neil Bath were taking the meeting, and Frank Lampard comes in the room, chaps the door, and comes in the room, says to Jody Morris, "Oh, so 6 o'clock tonight for dinner," something like that. And me and my dad just kind of looked at each other and went, "That's Frank Lampard," and then he ended up coming in and taking the meeting. So it was a bit crazy, and he was just saying, "Oh, in that position, this is what I would have done." And he was taking the meeting, and he was watching my clips. So from day one, it was a bit crazy. So, but no, it was amazing. I enjoyed it. And then when speaking to him, he's really good. He just keeps telling me to work hard.
Can you take us through your first playing experience in the Carabao Cup? You got to start in that competition. When you were told for the first time you're going to be starting, and what was that first playing experience like for you?
Yeah, it was very good. I wanted to go and play the full game and hopefully play well, and most of all to come out with a win. But no, that game really made my mind up that I want to be playing first team football and try and get more appearances, and had to work harder in training to make sure I got them opportunities. But no, that game was really good for me. I thought we played well, and it was a young team as well. We had Reece, it was against Grimsby, so we had like Reece, we had Mark and all that. So that was really good for a lot of young players coming through.
How comfortable are you out on the pitch sort of directing players that you grew up kind of watching. That, like, that's Olivier Giroud that you're on the pitch with. He was playing in the league. Probably your first football memories are of watching Olivier Giroud take a Premier League pitch. At any point, do you get a little uncomfortable telling what these older players to do, or have they been so welcoming that you feel right at home doing so?
Yeah, at first it's a bit surreal, as you say, telling players like this is it. But I think when I first went round, all of them have been very well with me. They've made me one of them, part of the team, and they're always talking to me and encouraging me. And they're helping me with my game. Tony Rudiger is one of the best. He's always talking to me through the game, so he was, and telling me, oh, less touches, pass the ball quick. And he always keeps on top of me. And even after training, he'll be talking to me about what I could do. And that's the best thing for me, to be learning from someone that's watching me progress.
Obviously, we're all dealing with the pandemic right now. I'm interested in what you're doing to keep sharp. We've gone over it on this podcast, what the club is doing, sending workout equipment and training instructions. But is this the longest break that you've had in your life between playing football, organized football?
Yeah, it's been the longest break. I don't think I've been home in Scotland since I've joined Chelsea for this long and seen my family. So it gets a bit boring. You just want to get back to normal and play football, but obviously we can't because of what's going on. But I've been doing fitness, been going some running, gym, and then been kicking a ball about out the back door with my little brother. So I'm still ticking over, still doing the stuff I need to be doing, but I just want to be back, normal routine, training, and then going home, training and playing. That's what everyone misses now.
I imagine if I asked this question to someone who is 33, I'd get a different answer. But is there a sense of, I feel like because of the grind of constantly playing, you don't really get much of an opportunity to rest. Do you think that rest is doing players good right now?
Yeah, at that time as well, some people might have a couple of knocks, and especially in our team, we had a lot of injuries. So this break, would you say, is helping a lot of players to make sure they're getting back fit. So like Ruben was in the verge of coming back in. So that's been good. We're going to get players back and we're going to have a full squad fit.
I'm looking at you right now in the Zoom, and you have really awesome memorabilia of your own jerseys. I'm actually not in my own apartment right now. I'm in an office. If I were doing this from home, it would creep you out because I have the exact same display with a bunch of Billy Gilmour jerseys framed up. It's a little weird because I'm 34 years old and have a daughter of my own, and she's probably closer in age to you than I am. But I want to talk to you about, because not a lot of people in America, we have, college, high school. If you're a great, prodigious soccer player, the great clubs are going to find you. But over in Europe, it's a lot easier to get into an academy system over there. What was your childhood like? What's education like? Your childhood friends, are you getting group texts from people you grew up on the block with? I can't believe you're out there, you're playing against Mo Salah. This is crazy. Or have you just sort of had a different childhood than most people your age?
So when I went to academy, which is like high school in America, it was like a football school. So we would do like English, math, science, and then instead of going to like geography or something, we'd go and play football for 2 periods. So that's what in Scotland I've done. There's 7 performance schools. So that was my kind of growing up. Didn't want to do geography, we went and played football. So that was amazing. Everyone's at school, you're sitting in class waiting 15 minutes until football, 15 minutes until football, instead of thinking about what you're actually meant to be doing in class. But I made a lot of friends from that. So I did, just because of playing against them at the time with Rangers. There was all sorts of boys come from different clubs. So most of my friends are from there. I still have my childhood friends from where I live and stuff, but I don't get to see them much because I live in London. So I always keep in contact with my best mate who I met from academy through the school. So we're always texting, and he plays football as well. So he's talking about his games and I'm talking about my games, and we'll be watching stuff, and he says, "You just played against Liverpool and stuff," and he just starts laughing. A bit surreal.
It is surreal. You seem grounded enough that it's surreal, because you signed with Rangers at age 7. Look, Kid, I know you're a blessed little billy coat, but this isn't supposed to be happening. Rangers are a big club. Jason Cundy actually spoke about this. Maybe you could speak to the dynamic because I didn't quite understand it, but Rangers fans are sort of predisposed to be Chelsea fans, and Chelsea fans sort of lean Rangers when it comes to picking a Scottish side. So it's a bit of a natural progression. Can you explain the dynamic there a little bit?
I think it's something to do with blue.
It's that simple?
Blue. Yeah, exactly. Blue brothers. So, I mean, Rangers and Chelsea, that's a good combination with me.
You grew up in a town of around 11,000 people. When you look at other people that you grew up with, when you kind of realize what's happened, is your path a very typical one? Because I feel like obviously you are very good at football, and there's a reason why you are where you are. But is there almost a certain amount of this town, this city is a little bit off the map, and someone came and found me? Like, who came and found you?
So, when I played football at boys club level, I played for my team called TAS. So that was the kind of local team everyone went to and done trials and training. And then when I was about 7 years old, a scout from Rangers called Scott Bryson came and scouted me and asked my dad, oh, we'd love him to come up to Rangers and train and see how he gets on. And then that's what happened. Signed for Rangers, played all the way up until I was 16, 17. And then moved, but I still keep in contact with Scott Bryson, my scout. And when we went up to Scotland to play Rangers, it was weird. We played them at Ibrox and all that, and I was wearing Chelsea kit and a captain. We won that day, so it was a great feeling. But it was weird because I was playing against all my old teammates, all my old friends, coaches were there, and especially my scout was there, and I was speaking to him before the game, and he was just telling me how proud he was of me. And hopefully when I'm back up the road for summer, which would I be now, go for a meal or something. But no, I always keep in contact with him. He's been really good with me.
Billy, you're a delightful young man. You seem super grounded, but at times I'm fearful of sounding patronizing because on the field, you're an absolute killer. Okay, complete player, attacking and defense. You're really impressive, wise beyond your years out there. So while it's easy to fall for the great young man and the great story, you're out there having a taste of first team football. You're winning man of the match awards. I know that part of you is like, well, there's established veterans on this team, but now that you've cracked that first team, now that you know that you can play with the big boys, do you see that first team as, oh, I got a taste of that. I don't want to let that go. I'm coming for that. I'm a killer. I'm Billy Gilmour.
As you say, when you get the taste of first team football and you're playing well, you don't want it to end. You want to keep playing well and winning games and doing the best for the team. But at the same time, if I don't play well, it's going to be an easy option to take out. So hopefully when I come back after this lockdown, I can hit the ground running and pick up where I left.
I am curious as to, you mentioned coming back after the lockdown. We've gone into it in detail, but how are you personally going about your business as a professional to return to football? Any new skills that you're picking up? Were you watching some film of your previous performances, realizing, well, most people see a man of the match performance. You're seeing some weaknesses and things that you can improve on.
Yeah, I watched a couple of cuts with my dad all the time after games, and I've not really watched back all the games, but when I do, it's mostly my dad that would be saying, yeah, you played well that match, but what about this pass or this touch, or you should have dropped off there, you should have tackled the ball. So it's just some stuff my dad will pick out because he's going to tell me it straight, to be fair, and might turn into an argument, but it's constructive criticism, as he says, so I need to take it and make sure I do it in the next game.
Over here in the States, we get pretty decent coverage of the Premier League from NBC or the broadcaster here. And they put out a YouTube video of your performance against Everton, which was every touch you had in that game. It was so impressive. It's like we need to highlight his individual performance. Can you take us through how good that game was from your perspective? And ultimately, I think your role in a normal circumstance is a bit more advanced. You were kind of asked to play a role similar to Jorginho's. So what for you, what were your thoughts heading into the game from a distribution standpoint and from what you were trying to do on the pitch?
When I get told I was starting, I knew it was going to be my full Premier League debut. So that was excitement and wanted to go out and play well. But watching and analysing Everton, they looked like they pressed high, and we'd done a lot of stuff in training the day before. So there was one pass where I played it first time right round the corner to Giroud, and we won a throw in. But that was something I'd done in training the day before, and I did 2 terrible passes. I kicked out the pitch. So when I came to the game, I was in my mind I was going to get it right, and when I done it right, I smiled. I was happy because that was something I was practicing. Never done it right in the training the day before, and then when it came to the game, I done it. But as you say, I had to go in, and Jorginho wasn't playing. So when I've been on the bench or even at home watching, I'm always watching what Jorginho does, Kovacic does, and Kanté does. What is it I need to do when I get called up and say, look, you're playing today? So that's where I need to start watching them and saying, oh, they're just keeping it simple, keeping the ball ticking round, and then at the certain points they play forward and it's sharp, it comes alive. So I had to make sure that I'd done that in the game, and against Everton it was a really good result, 4-0, and a great display of football.
Billy, are you a gamer? Do you like playing video games?
Yeah, I like playing video games. I'm getting myself right into FIFA again. I'm not good at Call of Duty or Fortnite, but I still play them just with my friends.
Okay, so the first time you opened up a game of FIFA, and not even opened up, I'm showing my age. See, back in my day, people used to go to stores and buy video games, and now I know that you can just download them. But there was nothing quite like the feeling of waiting in line at midnight for a Madden drop, Billy. Let me just say that. I sound ancient. When's the first time you downloaded a game of FIFA and you scroll through the roster and you see Billy Gilmour? You're probably rated an unfair like 50-something. Do you loan yourself out to a big club? Do you play as yourself? Is that your first instinct? Do you loan yourself out to bigger clubs? Do you play the whole my career and see yourself lifting the World Cup trophy for Scotland? How does this go?
Last year's FIFA, I was in the career mode. So I done career mode with myself, and I ended up telling to go on loan, and then I got him back. But it's frustrating because my guy was crap. He was terrible. I think I was like 50 rating, 53 rating or something. But I mean, it's better being in the game than not, so I'll take it.
So do you just bench yourself because you're killing your own chances in my career mode? Like, I got to get this Gilmour guy out of here. He is not
See, the thing
worthy.
is, he wasn't even on the bench in my team. He didn't even make the bench. So I just had to tell him to go on loan. So that was it. But I ended up playing Mark Gay, the centre back. He was good for me. And I think that was it. I think I only kept Mark.
It's amazing where Billy Gilmour is playing FIFA with himself and he's getting notifications like release youth player, and he has to think about whether or not he's going to release Billy Gilmour.
It cost me a couple of matches.
Well, just so you know, in the most recent game, they've adjusted the attributes of you that you go out on loan. Let me just say, Billy Gilmour, you are the backbone of every my manager mode. Everywhere I go, whether it's Frankfurt or Bradford City, I'm calling up Chelsea and I'm getting Billy Gilmour loaned in. You're a brilliant boss of the midfield. It says that you've challenged yourself by taking exams in Mandarin. You're studying Mandarin?
That was when I was in academy. I done Mandarin, so I did. It was difficult. The writing was difficult. I can remember some words, but it was something different. I really enjoyed it. The teacher was good with me, and there was only 3 of us in the class. So it was me, another boy, and a girl. And the other boy was my mate. So I was like, all right, I'll take it with him. And I started to enjoy it. And then it came to the exam, and it wasn't good. But I mean, it was a different learning. So it was, instead of taking the normal languages like French or Spanish, I thought I would take Chinese, Mandarin, and be a bit different.
Billy is going to be good at this media thing. Affable and really relatable. It's great to see that you're such a good kid and you're pretty grounded about all these things. We wish you nothing but the best of luck as the resumption of play probably is on the horizon. We hope, we have our fingers crossed, and we continue to hope to see you out there on the pitch for Chelsea playing first-team football. Billy Gilmour, thank you so much for joining us here on Chelsea Mic'd Up. Continued success.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Cheers, guys.